welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing. Each episode takes a deep dive into the franchise space and explores how the biggest and best brands handle national branding, franchise development, employee recruitment, and localized marketing on a daily basis. This podcast is brought to you by NetSertive, a localized digital marketing partner for franchise networks. NetSertive talks shop with franchise executives to discuss what's working, what's not, and answers the question, what else can you be doing to excel at the art of franchise marketing?
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Erin Martin, and this episode's brought to you by NetSertive. Today, our guest is Mitch Cohen, a multi-unit franchisee at Sola Salon Studios and Jersey Mike Subs. He's also an IFA board member, a partner at Performax Franchisee Advisors, and now also the chairman of the Multi-Unit Franchise Conference. So I think it's safe to say you're living and breathing franchising. Mitch, thanks for joining us.
Erin, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on with you.
And I'm super excited because you are officially our first franchisee that we have ever had, which now that I'm saying that aloud, it's like we should do this more because I absolutely loved your portion of the panel that you were on at FranCXC. So I'm really excited to talk today.
Yeah, great. I'm excited to be the first franchisee, and I'm glad that we were able to meet at the conference and set this up. So it's awesome.
Yeah. So just to kick it off for our listeners, can you give us a little bit more background on you and your life in franchising?
Sure. I'll start way back when 1983. That's when I started as a Baskin-Robbins franchisee. Fast forward into 2000, we had 15 Baskin-Robbins units, and then we took on Dunkin' Donuts as a second brand, and we created 16 of those brands with Baskin. So we sold in 2016, and then in 2017, I signed on with Jersey Mike Subs, and in 2018, I signed on with Sola Salon Studios. We currently have 8 Jersey Mikes open. We're building our 9th right now. We have 3 Solas open, and we're building our 4th right now. We're still in the growth mode, and I've been doing franchising since I got out of school, and it's been the best experience I've ever had.
I love it. And yeah, the previous podcast that I just had with a marketer, we were talking about, they're also a franchisee, and we were talking about the richness and how amazing it is when you're working at a home office, but you have that hat that you've worn of actually being the franchisee and being in their shoes, being a podcast for marketers and other franchise executives. I'm curious, what is the advice and kind of learnings that you would share with that home office when it comes to marketing, and what advice would you give the home office?
That's a great question. And being a partner of Performax Franchise Advisors, we work with emerging brands as well. And so the advice we give is we keep it simple, right? You got to remember, franchisees are in the grind every day, and the more you give them to do, the harder it is to execute. So marketing programs are great, but you need to make sure that you're speaking the language of the franchisee and looking at operations and execution. Because the worst thing you could do is market something that you can't be executed. That's not going to be good for the brand. The other thing is, I said it before and I'll say it again, philanthropy, being part of your community. Marketing should help the franchisees be part of the community. Philanthropy marketing is huge. Cause marketing is a way to grow your business. And I don't think enough brands do that. They might talk about it, but they don't give you the tools to do it.
Yeah, and on the first point you made about being simple, I love one of the quotes that you had that was, "I can't execute a novel." And so I'm curious, do you have any stories of either kind of adoption or rollout of initiative that was too complex or one that worked really well, and what that simple kind of looks like for a really good initiative?
Yeah, so I'll start with the complex one. Back in the days when I was at Dunkin', they rolled out bagels. We didn't have bagels. So it was a national rollout with baking bagels. It was so complex. You would think baking bagels, how that should be simple, but you had, I'll use the term SKUs. So you had different flavors that you had to prepare. You had to have time bakes. You had to figure out what the amount of bagels you were going to have. Nothing was provided other than, you're going to go be in the bagel business tomorrow. Like, the oven's in your store, we're going to do this. And it was very cumbersome. right? It would have been much better if they gave us a one-sheeter that said, here's how you bake a bagel. Here's the flavors you need, here's the varieties you need, and here's what we believe your quantity will be based upon your sales of coffee and other things. That didn't happen. Another problem that we had in execution was just recently, we got a chicken salad at Jersey Mike's. It was so good that we ran out of chicken salad. And so we had customers coming in and asking for a product that we didn't have. That was poor execution and planning on the brand's part, right? But ease of execution in the store. It came in, how to make it, one sheeter, 5 steps. It was made, go make the sandwich. Very simple. The problem was it was so good that we ran out. So that was a waste of marketing money, right? When you don't have enough product, and here you are, you're driving customers into your location and you're short on product. Again, it goes back to the home office. Getting in touch with franchisees on the ground before you execute anything is essential. So not only operations, but you can get quantities, you can get time management, all those things by including the franchisees in the early stages of your planning.
Yeah, I love that. And as a marketer, I get someone requesting a one sheet all the time. So sometimes I cringe when I hear the word, but the reality of just how you're simplifying a novel to a one sheet is super powerful. And the importance of, I think, that rev of either doing a pilot or testing. You've got this giant idea that sounds awesome. It's in your brain. You want to try it out, but it's oftentimes less is more. And so where can you pull out to the essence of what's going to make an impact to really get to that simple idea that you're getting at?
Yeah, and a one sheeter, it could be 10 steps. It could be 15 steps, but it can't be 45 steps.
Yes.
Because it just doesn't work. And what happens is when you send out the novel, franchisees don't open it. They go, oh, this is too much. They read the headline and then that's it. And so then that's poor communication on the franchisee's part. But being honest, we're just not going to look at it because it's just too much to do in a day, in the life of a day of a franchisee, especially if you have the multi-brands and you're trying to operate with 200 employees.
Yeah.
You got to be able to execute that.
Yeah, and I hear that all the time with different communication channels or ideas that marketers flip around on what's the best way to communicate with franchisees. So I'm curious from your perspective, sometimes I hear like little video newsletters are helpful because you're not just always sitting at a computer, you're on the move and anything that's mobile friendly. So from your perspective, what are some of those best touch points or way to communicate?
So currently, I believe anything that's audio or video or gamified, because not only are you're sending it to me, I have to send it to my team. So the audience is not just me. The audience is my 16 to 25-year-old employees. So if you can communicate short communications, the attention span is pretty short. So short, and if you gamify something that engages the crew, the team members, that's really helpful.
Yeah, I love that. I fall into gamification all the time. Like an app where you get just stars or points or a happy face for completing it. Like I'm there. I'm one of those that has to check the box.
That's it.
And so I'm curious from your Baskin and Robin days too, like looking back on that journey and reflecting on it, what are the big stories or kind of life lessons or lessons learned from those days that you've really taken with you and held on to?
We sell the ice cream. So selling ice cream, you make people happy. So that was the number one thing is I was there, we were going to make people happy. But then what I realized was we're really in the people business. We have to make our people happy to make the guests happy. So it's a fun atmosphere. So we were able to have a good time with the team members, make sure that they were engaging and not looking down, and making eye contact and engaging with the guests when they came in, teaching them sales techniques, but do it in a fun way. So that was my biggest takeaway from that was we're in our business, in the QSR business, we're in the people business. People first, and we happen to sell subs now. But before that, I sold donuts and coffee, and before that, I sold ice cream. But it's rarely the people make the business.
Yeah. And what do you guys, is there any initiatives or kind of tactics in the store that you would deploy specifically for focusing on the person, not necessarily the product, that has worked really well and is stuck with you?
Yeah, so when you say the person, you mean the team member or the guest?
Both,
go
as
both.
yeah,
Okay.
like the people experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody we want to be the Cheers, which half the people don't know. I got to bring it up
I do.
of the town, right? We want to know everybody's name when they come in. We want to make it
Hmm.
their ice cream shop, their donut shop. It's when you talk to a guest and you're out and about and they say, "What do you do?" And I own the Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, mine is here, and it happens to be mine. That's what it's mine, and that's the key. So then the guest is engaged, the crew is engaged, so they're learning people's names, learning their orders. One story when we had a drive-through at Dunkin'. So at Dunkin', people would just come in, and the conversation was very limited, right? It was get your coffee, you know what it is, and that's it. When I first took over the Dunkin', I decided I was going to work the counter. And I got on the counter, and the first person that walked in at 5 o'clock in the morning said, "Where's Susie?" I'm like, "She's not here today." I'm leaving. Like, you don't know how to make my coffee right. So Susie came back the very next day because that happened over and over again. So we realized the same thing at the drive-through. So we put cameras at the drive-through to identify the car. So now the team member could know, hey, Erin, you show up at 5:05 every day to get your coffee and bagel or whatever. I see your car, I'll know your car, and then I'm engaging them at the drive-through too, so it's personable. So we do the same thing at Jersey Mike's. Somebody comes in to Jersey Mike's, warm greeting, and we talk to them all the way through the line. Get to know them. If they're wearing a logo shirt for a team or whatever, hey, you're a fan of that team. I am too, or I like the rival team, whatever. And then it becomes their place, and that's the key that you want to get to.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. And so you mentioned opening new locations. Is there any other big initiatives you have going on for the year, whether it's at Sola Salons, Jersey Mike's, IFA? Like, what's front and center for you right now?
The two locations we're opening in Smith, we're opening one at Jersey Mike's, should be open by November, and the Solar should be open by October. So those are the two main initiatives. Getting the Solar leased up with beauty professionals, and then getting the team ready for the Jersey Mike's. IFA advocacy is coming up in September. That's always big. If anybody gets a chance to get out there, I would go to the DC Sub Fan event. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we go up to Capitol Hill and we talk about the issues that are affecting our business. So we want to be able to protect and promote franchising through the legislature branches. And then, of course, multi-unit franchise conference will be in March, the 24th to the 26th. That'll be pretty big. For me, it'll be an honor to be up on the stage and chairing that event. And I'm actually going to a board meeting next week to start preparations. So it's exciting.
Nice. Yeah, what content are you guys looking to be focused on, and what is most of the committee focused on doing? Just the content side of things, the whole event?
The multi-unit franchise advisory council is made up of only franchisees. It's run by franchisees. So we are looking at what keeps you up at night as a franchisee. That's the one bucket of things that we're going to look at. The other one is what can we do for better guest experience? And then the third part, I can't tell you yet because it hasn't been confirmed.
It's a surprise. I love
Stay
it.
tuned.
And so, personally, for you, what is that thing that keeps you up at night? I know it's a wild world out there right now when it comes to just the economy in general, consumer changing searching behavior, everything on the marketing front. It's wild. It's wild out there. But what is that top stuff that keeps you up at night?
So right now it's the financing that's available for new builds in the interest rate like everybody else. Even if you're buying a new home, it's no different. That's one big thing, but we don't have anything in the works right now, so it's not that it's important, but not the thing that's really keeping me up at night. The labor issues, we're very fortunate. We've kept a lot of our employees. We have very low turnover rate. That is my concern, is the people. How do we get more people? How do we continue to let the people grow with us and be able to hopefully one day become franchisees of a brand or another brand? One quick story I had back in my Baskin Robbins days. I hired an employee in high school. He left, went to college, came back, went to work for US Air, which is defunct now, and came back, and he started with me then, and he is now the COO of Arby's. So he's been in the franchise business since I hired him, basically. That's my claim to fame as far as taking care of people and making them grow.
Yeah, that's pretty good proof in the pudding. What else, what other best practices do you think you guys have at play to help with that really low turnover that you have with employees?
I think it's treating them like it's their store too, right? Making them part of the process. We're an open book. When somebody comes in, we teach them how to be business people, not just servers. So we'll go through our P&Ls with them. We'll have quarterly meetings with the whole team. We'll take the managers out of the store and we'll go to a competitive restaurant or a restaurant I know has bad service, and I'll bring them there and ask them to analyze what's there so they could see, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I'm like, yeah, so let's not make sure it doesn't happen in your location. Or I'll take them to a really good location and say, what is it that's special here? What can we utilize to bring back to our shop? And it's really their shop. So I give them the freedom to run the business the best they can.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that the ownership approach versus micromanaging, I could see as being really hard. Just being a manager yourself, sometimes you get caught in the wanting it to be done a certain way, or you're just really pushing for success and see it being executed one way to get there, and it's really then pulling back and giving them, again, just those end goals, what you're trying to do, and empowering them to be able to make those decisions, which is an amazing career opportunity.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago when I first got into Baskin Robbins, the guy who I partnered with had another business across the street in the same shopping center. And he would come in every night and clean the pumps where the chocolate syrup came out of. And I'm like, I could do that. He said, but you can't do it as good as me. And I'm like, okay, let me just do it. And he's no. So when we got to the third store, I said to him, are you going to go to every store and start cleaning the pumps at night? Because we're never going to grow. So we came to a realization that we need to trust our people, teach them the right way to do it. It might not be 100% the way I would do it, but it's going to be pretty darn close. And accept it. Don't accept mediocrity, but make it so that it's theirs. And so he cut the cord and we were able to grow to 15 locations.
Yeah, yep, love that. And as a multi-unit franchisee too, I'm curious, what would you tell a single unit who's looking to expand and grow, and any advice you would give them as they embark on that type of journey?
Oh, that's a great question. So we just did a project for a brand that has a lot of single unit operators, and they wanted to teach them how to become multi-unit operators. The first thing is you got to have your house in order where you are, number one. And you've got to make sure that you are bringing in the people resources to get to store number two. So it's not, I'm going to build store number two and then get the people. I'm going to have the people ready to go. And you have to be well financed. And you have to be willing and able to cut the cord, let the people run the business, move to the next one, set it up, get it right, run the business. Financials is a huge part of being a franchisee. And a lot of franchisees don't have the business acumen that they should have. And so we go in and we teach business acumen, like how do you run a P&L? How do you do food costs? How do you do your labor costs? So you need to have that, make sure that's in line before you can go to the next location. Now, when you get to the next location, you can do a graph and see how you're ramping up, what the average ramp up time is for your sales, and get enough data where when you get to location 3, 4, or 5, you'll be able to know what your costs are going in. So you always have to make sure you have enough funding. First one was probably just funded just enough because we always cut it tight. And then we were sweating when the doors opened and no one came in right away. So now we got to stockpile money for the second one and be prepared for that lull. And then you'll get the data with multiple to grow even further.
Yeah. Yep. And when you talked about having your house in order for that first one, it sounds like the business acumen, and we hear that all the time too, with just like such a big push at all times when it comes to the franchise business coaches. So much of their focus is on the data, numbers, educating on that makeup. So is there anything else that you consider as that having your house in order kind of things to make sure are in line with that first one before you scale?
Yeah, so your business acumen, your P&Ls, all that. Also, you need your financing in place. You have to be able to show to a bank that you're ready to build number two. So you need your financing in place. That comes with your P&Ls, your balance sheet. You can't squirrel away. You can't just take the money out of the business all day long and expect to grow the next one. You have to have something that a bank is going to want to lend on. So that would be one thing. The other thing I would say is you have to be able to know the area that you want to grow in. So you might be in Maine in a small little town, and you want to go on the other side of town because you just think it's a place where I should be. But if it's not, if there's a divided highway or the road's not right and the demographics aren't right, then you don't want to be there. You want to be maybe closer to your second location. Don't worry that you might cannibalize it because in your first location, don't worry about cannibalization because all boats will rise. So it's all going into the same pot, hopefully.
Yeah, makes sense. And turning to the marketing front, I'm curious what's working for you guys right now. This is one of those things where we kind of, again, hear the Wild West of everyone swinging back to grassroots marketing, really focusing on in between the four walls and that Cheers-like environment to be able to engage better with customers. So curious what you're seeing.
So grassroots is a definite plus. It's very low cost to do it that way, but you need a national platform too. So if you're a big enough franchisor, that national platform gets the word out. So if I'm paying royalties to a franchisor, I'm expecting to see some advertising from them on a national scope, even if it's on local cable TV that I can afford by myself, but then I can layer my grassroots against that. But grassroots is huge right now. And then the philanthropy part is very big. If you go out into the community and you say, we're going to do a day for X, or a percentage of our sales for the day is for X, and you do grassrooting and you do some social media around it, you'll see your sales grow for that day. And you'll also see the carryover. And people really start to want to shop where they know that the people are helping them. One of the negative views of franchising is they think we're all big businesses.
Mm-hmm.
The consumer doesn't understand we're a small business person. So the way to help them understand is going through this cause marketing and philanthropy.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, my next question was going to be, what's been one of your favorite marketing campaigns, whether it's Baskin Robbins, Dunkin', Jersey Mike's, or Sola? What's been one of your favorite marketing campaigns that you guys had? And maybe it's a philanthropic one.
On the Baskin side, so in the Northeast, we had Carvel. Carvel was a competitor, and they had every Wednesday it was buy one get one free hot fudge sundae on Wednesdays. So I created a program nationally with Baskin Robbins as the franchise leader to do buy one get one free hot fudge sundaes on Tuesday. So we preempted them, and that was one of my favorites because we were able to do it, and the brand bought into it, and we actually had made a big impact on Carvel, but we also got our customers to come in instead of going to Carvel on Wednesdays, so they
Yeah,
came.
that's pretty good.
So that would be my favorite. The Sola on Sola, the marketing is really for beauty professionals, so it's all social media. Jersey Mike's is their marketing campaign with Danny DeVito that's been running, really kicked us off right after the pandemic. Those commercials are great. And then of course Jersey Mike's Month of Giving is huge. We raised $30 million last year for 200 different charities across the country. So that's pretty amazing.
That
So
is
that's
awesome. Yeah. And I'm curious, do you guys or have you gotten involved at all with any local influencers or micro influencers? Do you guys have any programs for that or see any of that being effective on your end?
So we don't have official influencers, but we do have a few people that have taken up the Jersey Mike's on their TikTok and Instagram. Matter of fact, my friend just sent me one yesterday, a guy with this wild tuna fish sandwich that he was eating in his car that he concocted. And of course, I got 2 requests for it before I could even tell my employees what it was. I think for certain brands, an influencer is really good. We we're not at a size yet where we could pay as a local franchisee. So we're reaching out. In the one store we're building in the town, Smithtown, we have a brick wall. And so that's out on the side of the building. We're thinking of painting a mural that people could come and take pictures with, and hopefully the town will approve that mural and they'll be able to like take a picture with themselves and holding a sandwich or whatever. So that would be something I think would work well.
Yeah, that's really cool. Make a little Instagrammable wall.
Yeah, outside. So then people can do whatever they want with it. And we'll see. We have to get it approved by the town, but we think we will.
Yeah, that's awesome. Any other last parting thoughts for kind of the franchise marketers of the world out there when we're trying to fight the good fight for you guys, and advice you'd give our way?
I just go back to the beginning, is try to keep it as simple as possible, making sure that you're engaging your franchisees early in the process, using them for testing or just feedback. And as long as that's working, I think whatever marketing you come up with will work.
Love it. Mitch, thank you so much for coming on. It was so fun to meet you at the last conference and be able to talk today and get your insights from an amazing life in franchising. So good luck with multi-unit planning, and thanks again for coming on.
And thanks for having me. I'm glad I was your first franchisee, and I'd love to do it again if the time calls for it. And it was a pleasure meeting you as well. And hopefully we'll continue this dialogue.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Franchise Marketing. This show is brought to you by NetCertive. We help franchise brands and multi-location businesses run localized digital marketing at scale. To learn more, visit netcertive.com.